You're watching OS TV.
Hey, I'm Josh Horwege, and this is Jeff Boykin, and we represent The Dojo. The Dojo has a nationally sponsored competition team powered by your local Taco Bell, and today I'm going to cover how to fight a kicker from a kicker's perspective. Throughout the years on the circuit, I was known as a kicker, and I'm going to show you 6 different concepts that were used to counter me effectively and are still used today. Our first concept is how to jam a kicker. And there's 3 points. First is your guard position. There's 2 different guard positions we'll cover. Your second is stepping into the kick, which at times can seem counterintuitive. And lastly, using your momentum on the step in to knock the kicker off balance since they're only standing on one leg. Let's get started. First, we're to cover hand position. Coach Jeff can either do his traditional T-block, back hand protects his body, front hand protects his head, on up, our legal targets. Second is going to be the general block. Same thing. Now his front arm protects his body, back hand protects his head. But no matter what, when you're in kicking range, you have to have a full guard position. The second point is as I kick, I'm actually covering half the distance. So when I kick, if Coach Jeff takes a small step in, he's already jamming the technique. And his guard is in the proper position so he doesn't get hit. Let's do it again from the general block. Let's show you the next block. Same concept. He's jamming the kick, covering up. Most fighters want to back up on the edge of the kick, which is okay, but when you want to step in, you got to jam him, taking away that space. Lastly, he wants to use his momentum from the step in to knock me off balance. If I'm off balance, he has the advantage. Let's show you from both defensive postures. Now we're going to run through this same motion 3 times full speed, showing you how to jam and follow up after the kick. Let's go. Our second concept is checking or scooping kicks. And we have 3 main points. First is where your front hand should be. Second is how to check kicks from open and closed stances. Third, how to scoop kicks from open or closed stances. Let's get started. First, I want to show you Coach Jeff's hand position. To keep it out and about shoulder height. This is his ruler, his measuring stick, his first line of defense. And 9 out of 10 times, if that hand is out there, something psychological happens and the kicker will always try to kick towards or for that hand. So first, you've got to keep that hand out there, and you really want to stretch your opponent out. Second point is checking the kicker. Now, it's going to be different if it's a closed stance or an open stance. With the closed stance, it's preferable if Coach just uses his palm heel and just pushes straight down, preferably above my ankle but below my knee. He's a step straight in, check and counter. Good. One more time slowly. Check and counter. Now, from an open stance, it's the same concept, but because of my leg position and my body position, he wants to use his forearm, which gives him more surface area in case he's a little off. Our third point is all about scoops. So on a scoop, your job is to really step back slightly and try to stretch your opponent out. This is very effective for kickers who like to kick really long and sometimes don't have the best re-chamber. So from a closed stance, Coach Jeff's going to hop back and scoop, pull me across his body and try to stretch me out. It looks like this. One more time. From an open stance. Good job. Now we're going to show you these 2 concepts full speed on each side. First, checks. Now on to our third point, countering kickers with spin kicks. First point is really keeping your front hand out. Once again, this helps measure your distance. And we talked about it before, something psychological happens when your hand's out there. Kickers usually try to kick that hand. This also helps you measure your distance. After that, The timing of your spin is so important. If I decide to spin too early, I'll get kicked in the back by my opponent and I'll never land my spin kick. So the timing of the spin kick is so important. Lastly, you can't telegraph a spin kick. You have to add it in to your footwork. Let's show you how it works together. So here's a drill you could do with your partner. The partner of the kick shield throws a round kick to your front hand. As the foot touches your hand, I have to throw my spin kick. It should land as his foot lands. Let's try it a few times. Now that we know how to use our hand to measure distance and when to spin, you have to hide your spin. You can't telegraph it. So many fighters will take that back foot and they'll drift off the back a little bit, or they'll start twitching like they want to spin. So now we're going to talk about a simple bait move to set up the spin. I'm going to step in with a fake towards Jeff. As I hop back, he'll pull with his kick. When he hits, I counter. Let me show you a few times. So often fighters will telegraph that they're about to spin. We want to use our footwork to bait the kicker in to set him up for that counter. Let me show you how that works. Our fourth concept is all about crowding the kickers. First, you have to be comfortable sitting in that pocket, sitting in that critical distance, being comfortable and confident that you can defend yourself. Second is having a tight guard where you never overreact. And third is taking away the space of the kicker. Let's get started. First exercise, Coach Jeff is going to sit in the pocket. This is where odds are he cannot reach me with his hands, but I can reach him with my legs, so I have a slight advantage. He has to be comfortable there, knowing that he has a good, strong defense. So here's a drill you can work on at home. Half-speed kicks. Allow your opponent to see the kick coming, but gain confidence sitting in the pocket and never overreacting. If Coach Jeff blocks too high off my round kick, it leaves the side kick open. So as you can see, he'll have tight, small movements for blocking. Let's try it. Good job. Next is crowding the kicker. Kickers need space. A lot of times when I even start fights, I'll back way off the line to give me more room. Coach Jeff wants to take away that space. If I ever back up, he creeps in. Whenever I back up, he always creeps in. He has to constantly stalk his opponent, taking away that space. Now we're going to try it full speed. Our fifth concept is how to break up a kicker. You do that by using fakes, using angles, and mixing up your distancing. Let me show you how. Coach Jeff's job is to get me to want to kick, and he can do that by using his fakes, getting in and getting out. So as he does this, he wants to do that often enough where he gets me what we call popcorning. My leg goes up and down and up and down. And his job is to time my leg as it comes up, he can step in, or as it comes down, he can step in. But the more he breaks me up, the easier that's going to be for him. Second, kickers love linear targets. I can go faster on a straight line. As I lift my leg, Coach Jeff will angle front side, or he can angle back side. Or he can fake first and then angle, getting me to kick and get off angle. So you've got to use those angles to keep the kicker having to readjust. Lastly, is kickers like to find their range. To really break them up, sometimes you want to fake in their range and then hop way out of their range where they can't even hit you. Making a kicker miss can be incredibly frustrating for the kicker. Now, we're going to show you the three concepts in action. Our sixth and final concept is how to outkick a kicker. I have lost fights before by getting outkicked by kickers I was better than, and here's how they did it to me. First part is how to get your knee higher than your opponent's. You win a kicking battle by getting your knee above theirs. I may be the more aggressive kicker, but if Coach Jeff can get his knee and heel above my knee like this, he'll win the kicking battle every single time. Next, as a kicker, I got to get set. My feet need to be under me. If you have a fighter like Coach Jeff with a very strong side kick, he may not be able to do full splits or kick straight up in the air, but he can bully me with his side kick, kicking me in the elbow, the shoulder, the arm, constantly knocking me off balance so I can never get my body under me. So keep the pressure on the kickers with side kicks. Lastly is counter kicking from an open and closed stance. First, on the closed stance, I'll do a lead leg ground kick to the head. Coach Jeff will lean back and undercut me with the hook kick. It looks like this. Now, from an open stance, I'm going to come with a really high side kick chamber. Coach Jeff is going to lean back and undercut me with a round kick. Now, let me show you these techniques full speed. Let's go.
You're watching OS TV.